Hi, thank you for watching us here at Tax Talk UK, where we talk about all things tax and other important aspects and topics and things that you need to know if you're self-employed and running a small business. So on the back of the video that we did recently, talking about whether you should do your own bookkeeping or engage some professional help to do that. We were asked if we could talk a little bit more about what to expect from a tax agent. So that is what I'm going to talk about today. Before I do, if I could please ask you to take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you'll easily be able to refer back to this information if you need to, as well as finding other information that we have available on a whole wide range of topics, all aimed at helping you and supporting you in your self-employment. And you will find them catalogued in our playlist per the type of employment and trading style that you are in, to try and help you narrow down and find the information that's actually specific to your situation. So back to tax agents then, and what you can expect from a tax agent. Just to cover first, as we talked about previously when we talked about whether to consider using an agent or to do your keep your records yourself. If you are engaging some professional help, then please do ensure that the person whose services you're engaging is qualified for to provide the services that you're engaging them for, that they are a member of a professional body, and that they do hold appropriate professional liability insurance. So really, in terms of what to expect, it's going to depend really. All advisors are different in terms of their offerings, just like you as self-employed people and small businesses are all going to have a slightly different offering. You don't all operate in identical ways to your competitors. You will all have your unique ways of doing business, and so it's no different for a tax agent or anybody providing professional services for you. So that is the first thing that's important to know. So if you haven't had recommendations, or perhaps you've gone to a professional body to find out who is available in your area, then as you're talking to them, then you should get a feel for whether their offering is appropriate to what you want. So when I say that, for example, you may want to do a certain amount of your record keeping in your Making Tax digital software yourself. You may have decided that you feel comfortable with doing a lot of the data entering, and that you'll be competent to do that, but you want somebody to to have a review of it, or to look through either then submitting returns potentially. Everyone's going to be different with what they feel comfortable doing themselves. So if the person you're speaking to only offers a service where they carry out a certain amount of the records, or all of the tasks, then that of course isn't going to fit if they don't have any flexibility in that. So really, if you're speaking to someone and you sort of just feel that what they're offering isn't right for you, then it's likely that somebody else may offer that. So don't think that every offering is going to be the same. So that's the first thing to think about, is what you actually want from your advisor that you're engaging. Sort of have a think about what perhaps you've been doing everything yourself up to now and submitting your tax returns, but with the introduction of Making Tax Digital, you just feel that it's sort of become a little bit overwhelming and you want some support. So in that scenario, you might find somebody appropriate by going through the directory on your softwares, your chosen software's website. They will generally have a directory of advisors in your area who have completed certification in that software, and that will be able to help you. If you do go that route, it's kind of a little bit like a cross-referencing. You want to also check that that person is a member of a professional body and insured and fully qualified. Equally, if you go the professional body route, you want to check that you're approaching someone with the skills in what you're looking for. So that's the first thing to think about, is what are you wanting to engage someone for, and finding somebody that matches that in the service offering that they offer. Then once you have found the person and you've engaged them, then one thing that's important to always remember is that you ultimately are responsible for anything they're submitting on their behalf. Now, if you've taken out early advice to make sure that they're qualified, they're certified in the software that you've chosen, then that should not be any issue. The person should be fully competent to submit the returns. They will be asking you before they actually make the submission to approve what they're submitting. And much as it can be difficult, because sometimes you've engaged the services because you don't feel able to do it yourself, it is important to try to understand the information that they're sending, so that you can be confident that the information that's being submitted is correct, and that you are actually in a position to identify any omissions or any overlaps, any discrepancies in the data, because of course you know your day-to-day operations best, and your advisor won't actually necessarily understand the exact nitty-gritty of your day-to-day operations, and so may not be able to identify some things. But as I mentioned, you are ultimately responsible for what they submit on your behalf, so it is important that you do understand. If you don't understand, or you feel you need more information to help you understand, then just ask. You will find that your advisor will be delighted that you're asking questions and taking an interest and wanting to understand more about your returns. So anything that you don't understand, please do ask them. In terms of the information, so as I mentioned just then, the actual nitty-gritty of what actually happens in your business day to day, hour to hour, how every individual transaction operates, much as your advisor will have taken the time to get to have an understanding of your business, and as time goes on and that relationship develops, they will have an even better understanding. They won't be a mind reader, I can assure you of that. So it's important that you give them the full facts, the full information that they will need to be able to keep your records correctly and accurately for you. Also, another thing to mention is that, especially as we move more towards the Making Tax Digital for income tax, when that becomes a mandatory in April 24, you will find more and more advisors will be struggling with the time capacity to turn things around very, very quickly. So do make sure that you give them all the information that they ask for as in a timely manner. So rather than thinking of the deadline for a return to be a sort of a target, thinking of the close of the period that returns for, as this is when I start thinking and compiling the information that gives everybody plenty of time and takes the pressure off, gives plenty of time for your accounts to be prepared before any reports are submitted. If you're asked questions by your advisor, be sure to give timely responses. Your advisor, just the same as you, they will have lots of things to think about, lots of other people that they're dealing with, and if they ask you questions and you take a long time to respond, then it will mean they'll have to go back and review where everything was to actually get themselves back in the headspace of where they were when they asked those queries. So, and you'll find things will work much more efficiently if you try your best to get all of what your advisors asked in a timely manner and respond quickly to questions. Try to have a good understanding of what your advisor wants on a regular basis and how often that they want that. Perhaps if if that's a challenge for you to remember, perhaps pop a note in your diary, a recurring diary note, to remind you to be getting the information to them. So just to summarize then, so initially when you're looking at who to engage, you need to look at the qualifications, the professional body, the insurance. If you've already chosen your MTD software or working with it, that they are also competent in that. You need to find an advisor whose service offering matches what you are looking for, so that will slot well into your business, and then have a good understanding of what information is required when. Do your best to get that in a complete manner and respond to questions quickly, and just communicate and be open to make sure that that your advisor has a good understanding of what is needed. And just to mention, probably for the avoidance of confusion, so in this regard, when I'm referring to a tax agent, I'm talking about somebody who is registered and authorised by you to submit your tax returns with HMRC on your behalf, which is quite different from somebody who you have engaged to give you tax advice and tax planning and those sorts of matters. So hopefully that this information has been helpful. Hopefully, if you can take the information on board, it can give a good foundation to a good relationship with your advisor going forward, which you can build on, and you hopefully would then find that that will be a big positive impact in your business going forward. So thank you very much for watching, and if you have found the information useful, please do tick like on the video, and as I mentioned previously, do take the time to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.